Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Hey folks, super producer Brian here, filling in for the one and the only Carib Carter. He is off in the wilds of West Virginia. I promised him a day off, and so I'm filling in for him, and I'm glad I am. Here's why. We have a very special interview today with a lady by the name of Leslie Lawrence with ECI Development. Leslie is awesome. Not only does she have a really cool background, but we had an opportunity to sit down with her over the weekend and discuss what it's like to move to Central and South America into a paradise location from the United States. What's the process? How does this happen? How do people come to the idea of doing this? And what can they expect when they move down, make the big move? Well, Leslie knows all of this, and she's incredibly detail-oriented when it comes to the legal processes. She can help, although she's not a lawyer, she can help guide in those processes to the right people and the like, and also be able to help counsel with things that are very practical. For instance, furniture. Where do we get furniture? And like I said, we had an opportunity to sit down with her this weekend. I'd like to share that interview with you now. And so let's begin with my interview with Leslie Lawrence of ECI Development. Area down there just must be stunning.
Right. It truly is. You have the Caribbean blue waters, but the cool thing is, it's different obviously than here in Belize on Ambergris Caye because you're on mainland. So
Yeah.
you have some of the, benefits that come with living on mainland, but you still can hop across to the island. Obviously Roatan's a dive haven. But the cool thing I loved is that, you have 360 views from the top of your tiny home and you swirl around and you have beautiful mountains. You have the jungle. They were talking about the monkeys, and I kind of love monkeys. So I was like, okay, monkeys. And then he was
that's cool.
He was talking about they're going to have a music stage and a music studio, and I'm a music lover. So I was like, okay, monkeys and music, sign me up. I'm in.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, the cool thing about it is that, the variety of the style of living that's there is so different than I grew up in Hawaii. So I have a little bit of a perspective of what the difference. We moved from South Carolina to Hawaii, and oh boy, was that a different thing. And especially for a kid, we went crazy. As an adult, and especially for those adults who are looking for a lifestyle change, something that's different, that they've kind of completed the cycle of professional work and the like, or maybe they're doing consulting and the like, then they have the opportunity to explore themselves and explore their dreams.
Right.
And that's, I think, really what a lot of what ECI's properties do for people. It's a solution provider, and for those who are looking at dreams or don't know about their dreams but are learning about what's available to them in this new phase of their life. Tell us a little bit about how when folks come to you or you meet up with someone and you begin the conversation, give us some examples and ideas that folks can relate to that have sort of that connection to what they may be looking for, or what they may be dreaming of, or what they would like to find.
Sure. Well, I think the best place to start really is to share my story, because really it's that personal experience that I'm able to share with my clients, and that's where we connect immediately. So I was, a born and raised Texas girl, and I had a 20-year sales consultant career in the States, and I was a little burned out, and so I went to Ambergris Caye in Belize, a lifestyle investment trip. And I fell in love with it. When you talk about dreams and kind of finding like who you are, for me, I did some motivational speaking and workshops. And for me, it was all about finding your joy. And I found joy, as crazy as it is, swimming with the nurse sharks. My first time to ever do it. I was scared at first. I'm not going to lie. I was like, you want me to do what? Jump in?
I could understand that. Yep. Yeah.
But the moment I did, I kind of faced a fear. I watched Jaws too many times. I know they're nurse sharks. They're the puppies of the sea, they said. But still, to me, it was a big shark swimming under me. But I felt so much joy in that moment, and I was at peace. And I got out the whole rest of the trip. I felt like I was home finally. And it took a long time for me in life to feel that type of joy. And I went home and started making plans. And before you knew it, I sold everything, retired from my corporate career, and up and moved to an island.
There you go.
When I talk to my clients, I've been there and done it. And they like that, because a lot of people have these dreams and they think, someday I want to do this and all these what ifs. But when they connect with some of our, myself, my colleagues that have done it, it really reassures them. And then they realize that it is possible. You can do it, whether it's Belize or Nicaragua or Panama or the new, tiny homes in the area in Honduras. It's a great opportunity. So that's really where the connection starts, is sharing that personal experience and then really asking them and figuring out where they would be happy. Is it on an island? Is it somewhere on mainland, but you're close to an island in the Caribbean waters? Is it the Pacific side? Do they like to surf? What are their interests? And then we can really make, recommendations of what would be the best fit for them.
You are the first person I've ever talked to who said when they were swimming with sharks, they felt at ease and felt at peace. Listen, I worked on Capitol Hill and in politics for decades, and there's a lot of sharks there. And I can honestly say not one time did I ever feel, maybe on a Friday night after a couple, but other than that, I don't think I ever felt at ease. That is amazing. And it sounds like a beautiful, pristine kind of place where you can explore yourself. Absolutely. So when these folks come to you and you do share this with them, how does it come to more of a reality? Do they go away? Do they go back to their homes and they think about it for a while? What have you observed to be sort of the process that's typical to folks?
Right. Well, I think it's really unique to that person or that family. I'm talking to a lot of families right now, obviously with everything that's gone on this last year during the pandemic and whatever your beliefs are in the situation, that has really driven people to look at their situation and to look at the future and what they maybe want to change about that. And so I have a lot of families that, they want personal freedom. That's very attractive to them. They want to know that if something like this happens again, that they have a plan B. That's what a lot of people, they're telling me, I want a plan B, whether it's to move there right now or down the road when they retire, or just to have a getaway in case something, happens again, or even for some, it's just a vacation home. But it really depends on that, person. But I have so many families, and it's exciting to see because a lot of the people, they're really like-minded. Mm-hmm. And that's the cool thing when we say we're building communities. This is not about building, a home. It's really building a community. And I've seen that firsthand at Grand Pacifica in Nicaragua, that, we have a couple that just came in from Austria, and we have people from Canada that have come in. Obviously, we've gone there. So it's really cool, all these people moving in and creating this amazing, community with like-minded people.
That's beautiful. That's exactly what a lot of folks are looking for. And yes, there's no question. The last year plus in the United States, all over the world, in the United States, has been crazy. And you can't understand, you can't begin to comprehend. I don't think we could ever have predicted these kinds of things that have occurred. No. Plus, the other thing is you don't know who to believe. You don't know who to believe. And I'm in Washington, D.C. I play the political game, and I understand that it's all 1,000% rhetoric at all times, and it's very difficult. I've also been in the media. It's very difficult to be able to synthesize down what the truth is. Smart people can do it, and they often do it, and they come to their own conclusions. But in all of that is a lot of very unsettling feelings, especially about what's been happening as of late. So if someone decides to move and head down to one of these beautiful locations, let's get right to the point that some folks have asked me about it. Okay, I want to go. I want to have freedom. I want to have my own life. I'm going to choose Belize, and it's going to be everything my dream is. But I'm leaving the United States. So I'm leaving the United States. Well, the United States is, has been, the place where freedom has been created, and all of that. How does that happen, that transition, when people go and their security and their self-assurance that they're not going to be going into some third world place that is so different from what they're used to?
Right. Well, I think really, I talk about managing expectations a lot with my clients, who a lot of them, I consider a friend now, because we have a lot of conversations. We host discovery tours where they can come and see us in the individual countries where, I want them to experience. I want them to see what life would be like in that country, on that property. So we really encourage that. And, we're there to be a resource to our clients. So I tell them, you can ask me anything about, my experience in the different countries. I get text a lot, I get messages a lot, but I'm okay with that. Some are apologizing, am I asking too many things? No, you can never ask too many questions, because
right.
you need to get those answers, because it is different. I have families now that are coming in, they're going to come in and rent for a few months so they can really get a feel for things, especially like at Grand Pacifica, Nicaragua, for example. We have so many different communities there. And I say, come and see what's the right fit for you and the right size of home, because we have the tiny homes, but we have single family homes. We have beachfront condos. So we have options for everyone. So really just making that, change from the US, it's really walking them through that process so they feel comfortable. Again, most of us have done that. So we can say, here's where you start. Obviously, back home, you've got to sell some things, downsize, make some, pretty serious changes. But then we walk them through the process of, coming into the country, how to live there. If they want to, obtain a second residency, we connect them with resources for that. And, obviously most of the countries have different options where you can gain residency. So we talk about all those things. Again, is it from an investor standpoint they want to look? Is it for a lifestyle change? So we really ask all the questions and then really make the recommendation for what's the best fit for them.
I'm familiar with real estate in the States, but
right.
And you have certainly a more complex market to have to contend with when you're dealing with what you deal with. But it really you really get down even more into the personal desires and wants and needs and dreams and all that in order to make it possible. So now I'm excited to hear about. And it's selling, folks, I'm telling you, this is absolutely a fact. There are cozy homes, tiny homes, however you want to call it. We'll discuss what they look like, how they are, and what they all are about. But Leslie, tell us a little bit about the cozy homes that have been selling like hotcakes, literally. Right down in Honduras, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So the project's called Grand Atlantida, and the tiny homes are called the Reef. And so we literally did the launch last Tuesday, a live webinar. And before I got off, I could see my phone was already blowing up. I had it off to the side because I was co-hosting that webinar. And the response was tremendous. So probably I grabbed the last home site for one of my clients, I think around 10 o'clock at night. So within hours, the first phase was reserved. Wow. We were blown away. We're like, okay, well, maybe we needed a larger phase, or maybe it's time to look at launching phase 2.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. Obviously, I think the location, again, it's beautiful. You have Caribbean blue waters, you have the mountains, it's a beautiful setting. And for especially people that are in the dive community and enjoy those outdoor sports in the water, it's definitely a good fit.
Sure. Now tell us about them. What can we expect?
Yeah. So just like our other tiny home, cozy home, whatever you want to call them, community, obviously in the States, the tiny homes, kicked off and some people use the word trend, but it's really, I don't think it's going away. It's a new lifestyle. It's a new way of living, because people do realize what's important in life. And it's really being out in nature and experiencing things. It's not about the stuff that you have, that's something I always tell people. Once you can let go of those things and downsize, you find that you're actually happier and you don't have as much stress. So I encourage people, especially when they're thinking about moving to the country, don't try to bring everything with you. Let it go. Just let it go. I break out and sing the Disney song, "Let It Go," but I won't do it on here. But that's playing in my head. So yeah, definitely though. But the tiny homes, like I said, the community is really cool. We usually have several models here at the Reef. We've got 3 different models. So right now, currently, I'm trying to get over so I can give you the update on the home models. We've got one that's called the Perla, and it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. And then we've got Coral, which is it's also 1-bedroom, 1-bath, but it's like a loft model and really cool designs. And then, of course, the Delphine is the 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So you've got some options there. The cool thing on the pricing, and I do want to note that if we can throw in the date that we're, doing this on June 13th, because I know sometimes people may listen later and go, wait a minute, things changed, because our pricing obviously goes up with each phase. So with phase 2, we are here with us. I'm going to update you this, because if you're listening and you're interested and want to get on this, we already have, I think 3 or 4 already reserved in phase 2, because we had a waiting list. So we have a few more, like 8 or 9 left is all. So definitely get your reservation in and reach out to us if you're interested in one of these.
Wow.
But yeah, wow is right, because it doesn't really officially launch phase 2 until tomorrow. But here we are in the same situation. These are going to go fast. Phase 2 pricing, we're the first one, Perla, is starting at $92.9, and then you have your clothing and furniture. Coral is $103.9, and Delphine is $114.9. Again, phase 2 pricing. So keep in mind, June 13th, pricing will go up with the different phases. So if you want to get in now, and also mention that you're, listening in with us, because we can offer some special incentives for your listeners.
So that 2-bedroom, 2-bath was, what was the price of that?
It's $114.9 plus closing and furniture.
Really?
It's yes, really. Can you believe that?
That is amazing. And one thing that I knew this, but perhaps folks don't know, is that as you said, you don't have to bring along, your grandmother's couch with you.
Right.
You have the opportunity to buy furniture there, and as part of the package. So when you come in, your stuff's there.
And when we say furniture package, I mean, it's move-in ready. It's down to the artwork, the TV, the pots and pans, the plates, the linens. When I say walk in, you can walk in.
Crazy.
Bring your clothes. If you have a pet, I brought my dogs with me, but you walk in and you're there. Obviously, you're going to have some little personal things and sentimental things you want to bring, but really, you don't need to bring a lot of things with you.
Yeah. Well, I had mentioned that I had grew up in Hawaii, and our home was it was military housing, it was smaller, but the whole idea was we were never in the house.
Right.
Never in. If we were in the house, we get chased out of the house. It was so much. It was a wonderland of places and things and stuff.
Right.
And I can't help but to think that that's the same there, where it's you do your thing inside, but then you're out on a porch, you're out over at neighbors' houses, you're here and there, and you're sort of just living life.
Right.
The outside becomes part of your home.
It is. Yeah. The cool thing is, they have a lot of common areas. They have yoga palapas. There's, like I said, going to be the common space that's going to have, the swimming pool and the music stage and kind of a food court setting and some different retail space and a music studio. We envision, probably a dive shop will be there. So you have those areas and where people will really come together. I see that at a lot of our other properties. I know in Nicaragua, in Grand Pacifica, there's a restaurant called Sea Salt, and everyone ends up there at nighttime and watching.
I have heard, yes.
Amazing sunsets, so it's just a cool vibe. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm interested. I've seen, we've had dozens of conversations because I'm a worrywart and I don't know what, but I know what I want to do. And I buy a place, I'm happy. I'm there for 2 or 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
and then I decide I want to come, I want to go back and then have some of my relatives come and use the property for a while. And while I got to take care of things back in the States or something.
Right.
Do you see that type of circumstance with folks where they use it sort of as an occasional living arrangement for folks?
Yeah, we see a lot of things. Again, that's when we go back and ask those questions if they're coming in as an investor and want it as a rental, opportunity, which we have rental program in place, or if they want it, as a more of a lifestyle, they're going to live there, maybe part-time, again, maybe want friends and family to have access to it. So we really can customize it for what that individual wants.
Sure.
I will say if they're going to do the rental program, the furniture package is a must if they're going to do the rental program.
I could imagine. Right. So that way it's uniform, it's squared away, it's guaranteed, it's all new. Everything is delightful. Now, for folks who may not be aware, the rental program, let's talk about that.
Yes.
So if I have a place I want to use as an investment, but oh my goodness, I got to go find someone who takes care of it because this something busts, you got to worry. So talk a little bit about that.
Right. Like I said, we use our same kind of format that we have in all the different countries. So we have what I would say a turnkey rental program in place. So we do the property management. So really you don't have to worry about anything as the investor. We take care of that for you. And it's a super simple way to do it.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. So phase 2 will be occurring until they sell out. And
yes.
And what about phase 3? Let's step back a little bit. Let's take a look at the big picture. When this is all the phases are done, what do you anticipate this to look like?
Yeah, so when it's all done, it'll be about 63 homes.
Wow.
Phase 1 was 12. Phase 2, I believe, is 14. I'd have to look to see what phase 3 is coming. But yeah, so it's one of these things where the whole property will develop. There's some future development right on the beachfront. Currently, there's a few custom homes already there. So a lot of people are like, am I going to show up? It's going to be completely, deserted, but that's not the case. The infrastructure is in place. I will say that the tiny homes, once we start this project, it's going to move fast. So probably within, 6 months.
Yeah.
If you put your reservation in and we can talk about kind of how that works. If you want to, we can just kind of dive in and walk through that process because I think a lot of people are curious, what does a reservation mean? But basically it's just that, okay, there's a home site that that you like that location. So you put down a $999 refundable deposit and that reserves your home site. And then at that point, we're able to, get all the legal documents, the paperwork to you, and you have 7 business days to really dive in and review those. Then we just like to jump on a Zoom meeting and really go through all the questions because you'll have questions, obviously, the big decision. And we really go through that process and see if, this is the right phase for you. Is this the right, home site for you? And then at that point, once you decide that you're ready to move forward, then 50% less the deposit is due with the paperwork. And then 20% is due when foundation is complete, 20% when the walls are up, and then 10% plus the closing when the home is complete. And so once we get that initial 50% deposit, your home gets started. And 6 months later, you're going to have a beautiful tiny home in the Caribbean to come enjoy.
When my sweet bride and I bought our home, and we were young, and it was the first major purchase that we had. And I know this is a little different, but we were dealing with the rules and regulations in the state of Virginia. It was complex and confusing enough. Now, certainly, I've learned that pretty much, but not everybody goes and buys and sells homes all the time, especially if they've been in one home for a lot of their life, and then they're going to buy another house. Property, let alone in another country.
Right.
How is that experience? Or can I expect the same sort of processes? I know you guys must have the skids greased on this and have been through it enough times where it's no fuss, no muss, but we're talking about a different country. So give some insights to that.
Yeah, really, it depends on the country, and that's why we have to sit down and we have a lot of Zoom meetings because, especially on the titling piece, we're used to the States that happens very quickly. doesn't happen quickly in Central America. I just tell people right off the bat, just so you know, titling does not happen fast. But, you know, just as in these countries, when you have that binding contract, that's your assurance that you do own that home, and they are fully titled. So you own the home. But that's something we have to talk about is the processes, because as you know, especially some of the living on an island, things go very slow. That island time is a very real thing.
Oh yeah. I am sure.
So, you know, I even realized it's kind of funny because even working here now, you know, when I was in corporate America, it was go, go, go. And I was like, my voicemail even says I'm out making things happen. And I thought I was really good at multitasking. And then I moved to an island, and I didn't realize that I really had kind of relaxed some. And I guess I was on island time as well.
Nice.
And I started realizing when I was dealing with clients that their mentality was still go, go, go. And I was a little bit more relaxed. So I was like, wait a minute, I've got to get back and match mirror them, you know,
back up a little bit,
or manage those expectations.
Oh yeah.
You do live differently here. And someday when they move to one of these places, they'll see the difference. But again, when it comes to buying a home in a foreign country, you just have to ask a lot of questions. And we have great resources. We have the Global Property Resource Kit that I highly recommend your listeners to ask, for. We love to share that. The questions that you should ask when moving or buying in a foreign country. So there's a lot of that. And again, we really spend the time and we go through those questions, and we, go through the answers and realistically walk you through what the process is going to look like. Because, for me, again, I've kind of done this, and I want people to feel comfortable, during the process, because we want happy owners. We want people to, have the experience of a lifetime. So it's important for us to make sure all their questions are answered.
Leslie Lawrence, thank you so much for your time today. Now, tell folks how they can get in touch with either you or your bosses or the folks at ECI. Give us a little insight about and some of the resources that they will be able to find online.
Right, absolutely. Well, obviously ECI development webinar, but I'm going to use our webinar email to help us out. They can mention obviously where they heard about this, and I'm sure you probably have some resources that you can provide too, so we can make sure and get the right link. But message us at webinar@ecidevelopment.com and mention that it was on this show. Is there a name that tell me what the name of this is specifically what we're doing today?
This is a part of Carib Carter's Coffee with Carib, his Monday program, and this is what we do on part of that. And for a lot of folks are able to go to offshore.club and be able to really start their process there as well. But I'm glad to hear about the other sites that you're talking about that, that
the
are
Offshore
available.
Club. We love working with our Offshore Club listeners for sure. So reach out to us, connect with your property consultant. You may not know who they are, but they're waiting for you. So as soon as you reach out, to us or to the Offshore Club, then we will be able to get the answers to you and the resources. Again, ask for that Global Property Resource Kit. I would start there. And then the cool thing is, for whichever country it is that you're interested in, we have handbooks for those. So if it's Belize or Panama or Nicaragua, we're updating and working on the Honduras one now, so that will be available soon. But we really want to provide resources that you can, educate yourself on that specific country.
Fabulous. Leslie, thank you much. Thank you very much for all the info, for the insights, and for you're just so cheery and making you. If this is what life is like in Belize, or I'm there, we're there, we're all going. We're all going to jump in.
Come visit us soon. We love to show off all these countries and share it with others. It was great visiting with you today.
Absolutely. Same too. Take care.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit offshore.club today. Offshore.club. That's offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.